listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Ean Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Reign After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Reign After Show.
Give me that. Yeah. Love it.
This reminds me of like Beaches, Bette Midler when she's on stage. That play.
I haven't seen it.
You never seen Beaches?
No.
Oh, we'll get into that. Hey, everybody. We are doing another after show of your favorite TV show, Reign. This is season 1, episode 7, Left Behind. I am your host, Keetin Marchi, and we have the whole panel together, guys. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
We got some, I know, Reign lovers. So you guys all want to introduce yourselves?
Yes.
Ladies first.
Well, thank you. I'm Fahnia Thomas. Been with you guys since day one, me and Keetin. I'm so happy to have these other fellas with us here.
Get some men on the panel.
Awesome. Jesse, go ahead.
After you, sir.
All right. I'm Ean Weslynn. Been here for a second week now. And yeah, I'm super stoked to be here. Great to meet you guys. And great episode to kind of join up on.
This is also my second week, and my name's Jesse Wilson. I guess that's probably the most important part. And I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
Seriously.
Who do we have in the booth over there?
Who dat?
Who's running the show?
Hello, everybody. I'm back for God knows what week, but I'm back. We do. This show is just steamrolling in terms of popularity. I love it.
Right?
And
So
Phil's
good.
been the one constant, so we should give Phil a round of applause.
All
Because
right.
Except
All
for episode
right.
1.
Yeah. Oh, well, except because both of us.
The original.
It's okay. It's okay. You know what? We're all together now, and
know.
let's talk about this awesome episode. Oh my gosh! Like, where do you
Action-packed.
Seriously.
Who wants to start? Where do you guys want to start?
Best episode yet.
Yet.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah, just going to put that
There
right
was
out there.
blood. There was dirty stuff, and there was
There was
There was a
much.
hostile
There was blood,
takeover.
Betrayal?
sex, cussing. What else?
Betrayal?
That's all you
Betrayal.
need is those three,
True.
though. You know?
That's the recipe
Pretty
right there.
dresses.
That's a trifecta.
Yeah.
Pretty dresses.
Pretty dresses.
Oh, lots
Yes,
of pretty dresses.
the bad romance.
That's
dress.
all I
We'll
noticed
get-
was the pretty dresses.
Yeah.
My favorite.
We'll get to that, but I guess we can start out with just where the episode starts out.
The episode starts out where Henry and his men peaced out. They kind of
They were like, "Howdy, we got some stuff to do."
They threw the
war.
deuces up.
yeah, peace out. Guys, have fun. Take care
Later,
of the
ladies.
castle.
Yeah.
And it is weird though that they left, knowing that the Italians were on their way there, and they had like less than a year ago had been at war with them.
Yep.
I don't know. That just seems stupid to me. What do you guys think about that whole scenario?
I'm going to say power of the pussy because it was Diane's fault. Can I say that?
Well, yeah, we find out at the end that
I've
Diane
never
was
seen
the
any cats
one.
in this episode.
Meow.
We do find out at the end that Diane kind of, as the Italian mentioned, he was waiting in the woods for 3 weeks, and she's of the woods, and she was definitely letting them know exactly when to strike. And so, yeah, I think we can chalk it up to the power of the pussy.
I'm saying.
All right. Let's
That's
do it.
Henry's like, I'm out. Diane said so.
Bye, guys.
I don't know if it was planned that they knew that the Italians were coming, or if they did, it was probably he was coming at a certain point, and then King Henry had to go off and fight, so he had to take off before the Italians showed up, right? Because he had to go off to war.
That's true.
So Queen Mary called it.
Yeah. Well, I loved how much interaction we had between Queen Catherine right now, who I think is like my favorite character. She's awesome, and I like that we saw different layers of her. And the thing, I know people hate her, but I love characters that you can love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're starting to figure out, okay, this is why she is the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different. I mean, the whole story about her being, held hostage in the nunnery and how she had to fight. I mean, gosh, that girl has been through a lot. We know she didn't come. She's not a royal, or she wasn't a royal.
Just a very prominent family, the Medicis.
Yep.
And which I think was nice. They actually get back a little bit to history, right? A tiny bit. There's not much history going on in this, but they threw that back. The forks, I think, were prominent about that time. Royalty started using them. It's two things I kind of looked at while we were watching.
So there you go. There's your education from the CW for tonight. Forks.
And the Medici family.
The Medici family. Look up the Medici family. They're really awesome.
We definitely, the fork was a little bit of a foreshadowing too, not to get ahead of ourselves, but at the end there was some forking going on between Francis and Mary. But
how do you? Oh, God.
It's advanced spooning.
Or as he said, it was that the fork was it wasn't a toy; it was diplomacy.
Yes,
right, and that's where Vincent, what was it? Count Vincent. That's where he ended up dying at the table, dinner table.
That's true.
Interesting. Didn't even. Yeah.
Got this scholar over here. I love it.
Hardly a scholar.
So King Henry leaves. Count Vincent and his Italian men show up, and at first they're so chill. They're very nice.
Well, they're chill, but like I think it's in that first conversation. She's like, "Oh, to friendship and like to these nice things," and he was definitely not having that.
Yeah. But before that, when they first are announced and they first walk in,
they
are very
the swords.
chummy and very sweet, and he's complimenting Mary, and they're like, "We need to take away your weapons," and they're like, "Oh, sure, whatever."
Well, but he did say, "Oh, it's not the king." Oh. You don't have out your gold goblet.
Yes, the gold goblet. Yeah.
It was just kind of like this undertone of digs, like something's up.
He knew his worth to them. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like. Not to keep doubling back, but the one line that I just absolutely loved was the Queen talking to Olivia, and she was like, "Well done on getting my son into bed." Like it was just like setting the scene for this episode. It was just the funniest line.
I wish I could have counted how many times you said, "Oh, what the great writing in this episode! Great writing! What a great line!"
I am a writer, and so I appreciate great writing. And I noted that the writer of this episode was Drew Lindo, and I haven't heard of him before, but good job, Drew.
And even by the end, you were calling the lines that were probably coming next, and you were spot on.
Yeah, no, like it was quality writing, like good setups, good, everything. So,
I think in the beginning they really foreshadowed what the episode's going to be about when they said when the Queen said the men go off to kill. They always have this urgency to go off and kill something. Why can't it be more harmonious like women, right? And then she's like, "You mean like us?" And she's like, "Yeah, exactly," which was bullshit because the women are the ones that end up killing everybody.
Women, we are not nice.
Yeah, no. Once we're crossed.
I feel like this ties in. I don't know what show it was in. It might have been Game of Thrones or something else. But poison is the weapon of women. They talk about how men fight with
I
with
think
swords.
that was Game of Thrones.
I feel like
I think it is Game of Thrones. Yeah,
because that definitely ties in with this episode. Where it was like, oh, all right.
That's funny because I said that was the thing that tied almost every one of our topics together. Was poison.
Was the poison?
Because remember how in the end, if we want to get to it real quick, Bash says to his mother, "This is poison." The treason talk.
Yes.
And it pulled them apart, where poison brought the other families together.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Because there was definitely
We got a writer and a scholar on the panel now, you guys. We can just sit back.
That's our writer.
God.
I'm like, I like the pretty dresses, and you guys are like, well.
And
I like the pretty dresses.
I'm a fan of the headbands.
Yeah. No, I'm sure headbands are gonna be huge next season.
Oh yeah.
Just like with Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Gossip Girl of Thrones.
There you go.
There it is.
So going back to Count Vincent, can we just say, so his son died of like diarrhea?
No,
Dysentery.
Which
Same
is
thing.
basically like a stomach flu.
Well, did you ever play Oregon Trail, guys?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, you always died of
I have lost
dysentery.
so many family members to dysentery. Also, fording the river. Never do it. Never ford the river.
Well, you got to look at how wide it is and how deep it is.
I know.
And how heavy your wagon is.
To that point, I mean, if in terms of that, right, he was taken hostage and he wasn't actually killed on French soil, and it ties back to Greer and Leaf when he kills the guy and says, now we don't know who killed him.
Yeah.
So again, in that vein, Roberto could have died on his own, not necessarily the French fault.
Well, what he said is that obviously his conditions as a prisoner of war. Like,
Yep.
the
8
conditions
months.
aren't always the best, and that's what he said was, led to his dysentery. But and any type of traveling back then, disease ran rampant. So it kind of sucks that he is blaming France. But
Catherine,
still.
I liked her point. And I surely am a survivor. Roberto wasn't a survivor, and obviously neither is his father. But so it's all about no matter what, you survive.
Yeah.
History is written by the survivors.
Yep.
I love that quote.
That was great.
And I surely am a survivor.
I'm a big fan of the TV show Survivor, so
I'm a big fan of the Beyonce song Survivor.
that's
Destiny's
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 Child.
Child.
I like
Destiny's
that.
Child.
Whoa.
The Rocky soundtrack.
Credit
on
where
Survivor.
credit is due.
All right.
Okay.
We got a lot of themes going on. This
We
is good.
do.
So many
We're
themes.
jumping around.
Themes.
So let's talk about that scene when they are all drinking wine, and that's when he is doing the digs, and when all of a sudden you can kind of see it's clicking, and Francis and Catherine. I can't remember whose head it clicked in first.
I think Mary and Francis
I-
kind of look at
I
each
think
other, right?
Francis leans into Mary. He's like, "Go upstairs," and she's like, "Oh, should I?" And then the bodyguard of the Italian was like, "Don't do it." Like he still had his sword, and that's why they stayed. But yeah, it was definitely Francis was the first one on that.
Well, Count Vince was very diplomatic, I think. He started off very soft, very polite, very nice, and eased into that story, right, and got very harsh, said, I know the worth of my son now, 15 ducats.
Yeah,
And then
1500
she cheers to peace and prosperity, he cheers to clarity
Yeah.
of knowing the worth of someone's life.
to clarity, to seeing the truth about people.
To forks.
To forks.
To forking.
To forking. Another great line that was a little bit before that was to stay sane we must stay apart, and that was with Francis and Mary. That was a good one. Let's see.
And to read into that a little bit more, I don't know how many people really pick up most everything, but it was the reason why they can't stay together, right, is because if they can't end up being together, if they end up not being married together because of politics, it would kill them, right, because they love each other. It's obvious they both love each other.
Yep.
And if it turns out they can't be together and they stay together, it would rip families apart, countries apart, etc.
Well, that ties back into the kind of, it seems like the thesis statement of this show, which is, love is not for kings and queens. It's not up to them who they marry.
You marry the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I really like Francis. I think, and I especially liked him this episode. I think he's such a stand-up
He's
guy.
noble.
He's such a noble guy. Like, everything he does. I mean, the only time he really has let petty get the best of him was in that episode when he saw Bash and Mary kissing. But other than that, he is such a good king.
True.
I feel like he is everything that you need to have to be a good king.
Totally.
I thought him and Bash actually had quite a lot of similarities in today, because normally with Francis, at least, you kind of look at him, obviously weaker of the two, right? But also less knowledgeable, right? He's always, as Olivia says, she feels like she's the chess piece. More times, Francis is a chess piece too. But in today's episode, with Bash in particular, and obviously with what's going on with Diane, he kind of felt like Francis, where he's being left out of the loop and only given clarity
Ooh.
in those
That
certain
word.
moments, when it's right for Diane to say.
I think you're right. He is very noble too. Where if you could think of a word that describes the three main guys in this, is Francis is noble,
Bash
Leith is chivalrous, Bash is loyal.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say sexy.
I think
All of the
sexy
above.
loyal, but loyal because he said he
Yes.
keeps defending his brother and he against his mother. He says,
He's like a
"It's my
good
brother."
dog.
Yeah, he is. But a good attack dog. He's like a golden retriever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
They're not attack dogs.
Maybe he's more German Shepherd.
There you go. I'll take that.
I think Francis is more a golden retriever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Like well-intentioned, but no.
I don't know. I was hashtag Team Francis this whole episode. Bash kind of bugged me.
right? I honestly, for the entire time, I was like, "Oh, Bash is gonna come in and save the day," and I was so happy when it wasn't Bash that did it, that it was Francis.
And,
I loved that.
I've always thought Francis. You can tell me what you. I've always thought Francis was attractive, but I never thought of him as hot. But just his personality in this episode, and like kind of just him fighting for Mary's love and being so passionate.
I would have slept
like,
with him at
woo!
the end.
Yeah, I know. I would have told him to never stop too.
Yeah, right.
All he did was cut off the hand, though.
Yeah, at
the
the
women
end.
did the real work in this.
Exactly.
True,
I
but he
agree.
came back.
Stabbed.
He
did
came
come
back
back.
not
He did.
knowing that they were doing all that.
Or he came back
with confidence.
Or he came
Yeah,
back to rescue Olivia.
Confidence
She wasn't
kid.
there at the door.
Right. Like I'm still not Team Francis because I'm sorry. Olivia's not gonna come back and save Mary. She's not gonna help her.
Like, and she
So-
even said, she was like, "Why would I come back?" like when talking to him, he's like, "No, you have to stay back." She's like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Like he should have known better.
I don't know which
Yeah.
one of you guys said that. Like, why didn't they leave somebody with her to make sure she
Yeah.
stayed
Yeah.
there? Like, that was just
that you?
stupid.
No, I think it was Phil.
Yeah.
Was it Phil?
Definitely was me. I was like, all right, because we
we
had
wouldn't
that
have an
commercial
episode.
break. We were so into it, and then we're like, why was Olivia left there?
Well, and I thought the reason was that she has more to lose in this, right? Her future king and husband is there that she has to wait for, who's now gone, of course, and the mother, who she can ruin her life. If it was a simple house servant, whatever, they could just take off, flee the country, whatever it is, and be fine. Her family is being, and her future and her life, essentially, is being ran by the queen. So the queen knows that she is my pawn. I will make her do whatever I need her to do.
But hasn't she already been disgraced?
She
Yeah,
has.
I think
Well,
her
But
life
this is the only
already
way to get
ruined.
back
Oh, okay.
is to marry Francis.
Can you come back during this time period when you? I mean, when
Well,
you've been.
you
no,
married a
but
king.
she's essentially the Diane. Like, you know, what we're
Yeah.
seeing is the repetition, and
Right.
so, like, and they make that kind of comparison earlier in
Yep.
the episode. But you know, she's the Diane, and so all she can hope for is that, you know, she already got dude into bed and he said Mary's name, and all she could, it's so awkward.
So she's holding out to be the
She's-
mistress.
Maybe he was saying marry
she's hoping
me.
that she's
No?
I think she's
What? That's how I would have played it off.
I think you're about to talk about the
Marry
conversation she
me.
had with Catherine when Catherine said, "Now go
Yeah.
go ahead and get pregnant."
yeah, and I
Miss
think
that gold.
no, that was good.
No,
Marry me.
But he was like, "I'm sorry. What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
You were reenacting a sexual
You're hearing
moment."
We'll circle. We'll come back to that.
This podcast is rated PG.
Yes.
Okay.
NC-17.
TV MALSB.
that mean?
Language, sex, and violence.
Okay. I was like, what is that?
For mature audiences only.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
my favorite type. You know, American Horror Story, all that stuff. So it's TV MALSB.
You were black yesterday. So.
Oh yeah, I did. We'll talk about it afterwards. No, but I really think that right now, I'm sure, now that he's slept with Mary, the issue is going to be that she's going to be pregnant. But that we can save that for
you're
that
right.
Olivia.
Predictions.
Sorry,
Predictions.
predictions. Sorry.
Predictions.
Yeah,
Do you think
but-
Olivia's going to be pregnant?
Yeah, because they've already slept together. It just makes
I think
sense.
Olivia's dead.
Oh yeah, she's still.
I think Clarissa took care of her ass.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
I think
Clarissa's
she's
gonna come back and explain it all.
Well, I love that.
No, you didn't.
Oh, that's such a great reference.
Way too many puns.
I will never forget Clarissa's name now. I never
Yep.
thought about that. But
Yep. Because she really does. She explains the castle to Mary.
She does explain it all.
Okay, so I must say, like, okay, just with the, are we gonna go chronologically?
I
or are
called
we gonna
Greer
go
green on that board. I just noticed that.
Green and
My
Lee?
my R got a little extended. I'm sorry. Will you guys want to talk about Greer and?
Well, yeah, the troubles can't follow you into water that warm, but I can. You know, like just great lines. Like, I think he's super cute. I think he might be the cutest of the three.
I think he's very chivalrous. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I think they're very cute together. I
Mm-hmm.
love how like the whole cooking was sensual, like pottery or pool, like
Right.
that's how they get down
There's,
in
like,
the
the
But it
Renaissance.
ties
Ghost.
back later. Like, oh yeah, no, so good.
And if you noticed, she put on the servant's clothes, which she essentially is. I mean, not
It-
really, but she's not royalty.
Right.
All she has is money, and her family's losing money, by the boatloads. She's back to her roots, essentially.
It
And
is-
she found the love of her life, which
It
is
is
now
poetic.
grief.
We're starting
what
to
they
see
are.
how they're all like one's
Grief.
going to just settle and for money and
Yep.
not worry or for love, not
One's-
worry about money. One's becoming the whore.
Yep.
They're all going to their.
She
Yeah,
only
the
slept
ladies
with
in
one
waiting
guy. It
room.
doesn't make her a whore.
She's
The
the king's
mistress.
whore.
Yeah.
Mistress, not whore.
They call her the king's
Sex
whore.
with kings.
I like to say
The
whore.
Italians, the
We're talking
Italians
about
called her
back in
that.
we're talking about back in the day. Like, not maybe nowadays. You wouldn't
Once the
necessarily
flour
call it
is gone and the cookie is eaten, you are a whore. I just
Noted.
like to say whore.
All right, well, I don't know. Did you tell me to read the book Sex with Kings?
No, ma'am.
All right, there's a book called Sex with Kings. I can't remember who told me to read it. I haven't read it yet. But I heard it's really good, but it's basically different stories about mistresses to kings throughout history. So it is, it's a historical.
This one's
you know
very
what I found?
accurate too. Diane.
Did you tell me to read it, Phil?
I certainly did not, but I found it interesting that when you're kind of supposedly royalty and things like that, you don't really know how to do much of anything. And now, by her learning how to make an egg, just even that simple task, she's becoming self-sufficient. So preparing her almost for a life when she doesn't have money, so she can do these various things, much like Sebastian has learned to do versus Francis.
Very true.
And like just on the whole note of what putting on the clothes, it's this whole she sees that as being like the enemy almost. Like that's the thing that she can't.
She thought
do.
she looked
But,
ridiculous.
she puts it on. And
she wanted to get in those hot springs.
She wants
Yeah,
to,
she
right?
did.
I mean, she was expecting to take them off very quickly. But
And you saw a little bit of a microcosm of what their relationship was when he says you have to really mean it, right? The flip, you have to put everything into it,
Back
really
into
mean it.
it.
She didn't quite she made the flip, but it landed on the floor. And then he says, "We fix things for you people up there." So she may screw up the relationship, I think, along the way, and he's gonna always fix it. He's always going to be there for her.
The other thing to note is that so we as the audience know that he's her true love because we saw the white mark on his face, and I think that might have even been the first episode or maybe the second.
I think it was.
But she doesn't know that yet. So she's like she hasn't seen the white mark.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that. So we are seeing it and we know that how it's going to play out, but she's still kind of, she's not.
I'm totally Team Grief.
I think they're
Without a
adorable.
doubt.
Yep.
And I don't want to save this for predictions because I'm going to forget.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Okay, it's
Good grief.
They just keep
Really,
coming
though.
to find us.
That's the classic story, right? In every storybook you ever heard, it's the poor kid and the
And the
Prince and
Lady
the
and the
Pauper.
Tramp. Lady and the Tramp.
Prince and the Pauper,
Pretty Woman.
Lady and the Tramp.
Pretty well. Yeah. Well, that's
That's
it's
Kenna's
reverse.
story. That's Kenna's story.
Same best.
Hua.
You like the horse, don't you?
I like the word.
Poor.
It's a great word.
Hua.
It is a fun word.
Oh, I love Greer. I think she's like my favorite.
She's cool.
Let's talk about our favorites really quick. Who's everybody's
I
favorite?
don't have a favorite. I can give you an argument for each of them.
Okay.
I like
Unfortunately.
Lola. I mean, I like them all, but I like Lola.
She gets the
we
least
talking about
amount of
favorite of the
screen
girls?
time.
Yeah.
Or
the
favorite
girl-
of anybody?
No, just the girls.
Of just the
ladies
four
in
or
wedding.
just of the
Looks-
ladies?
Looks or overall?
We'll do looks and then we'll do overall. And you guys out there, comment, rate, watch
let
us.
us know.
Please do.
Yeah, let us know what you think as well. Rate our
The total
episode.
male demo that is probably like 10 guys
Yeah.
listening.
No, but like,
Versus
Alright.
the thousands
No,
of females.
girls can do it too.
it's online. It's anonymous. You can just write who you think is the hottest. It
I
doesn't
think
matter
It
what
doesn't
you're.
have to be hottest. We
There's
all
some-
Well,
agree that
but-
Ken is the hottest, right? Come on.
Ken is the hottest, but
Yeah.
I think I
Okay.
like Greer the best.
Yeah, she is. She's sexed up the most. She is.
But
like,
Greer's
the most
boobs are just
appealing.
always out there.
You know,
I don't know why.
Lead with your best assets. Like, you gotta.
I like Greer. I don't like that she really believed that she had to be, marry rich. There's too stuck in her head. She's slowly learning to live
Well,
with.
she still has to.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely gonna come back. Is she as much fun as she's having right now? It can't last.
And then Ailey to me is just too young and innocent. Kenna too dumb and kind of a bitch. I personally like Lola. I think she's going to be the smartest and strongest, though she has the very least airtime, right?
Yeah.
She's the one that stood up against the Queen and said, "Look, we don't believe you."
Yep.
And what she said, we're used to having evil men in
After
French
us,
court
yeah.
and
Yeah.
women. I think she's
That
going to be
say
the smartest.
pleasantries
It's going
and-
to.
Well,
She'll find someone too. Good.
Episode 1, she already faced a huge heartbreak. She lost her true love, and
Right.
because of Catherine. So if anybody has a reason not to trust Catherine, I feel like Lola's number one. Obviously, Mary doesn't doesn't really have a reason to trust her, but Mary has a closer relationship with her. Lola does not spend much time with Queen Catherine, and her only time involving Queen Catherine was when, her true love was.
She has a
thrown
lot
in
of
prison.
substance though, because she was there also when the other guy that she was going to marry
Died.
The dark guy
Chad
who
or something.
Oh, wait, are you
they-
from Portugal?
yeah, the Portuguese
Yeah.
guy. Like she comes in when like we need her, and I wrote the same thing. Like she ain't buying what the queen is selling. She doesn't, and she speaks her mind, and I like that.
Yep.
I think this may be a bit of a prediction. I think her and Bash may have
Ooh.
something. Like this. Remember, way early on, there was a
when
really
he
quick.
got stabbed.
Yeah. There
She
was
was
a quick
reading him.
flirting, and they had some eyes.
She was
We'll get back to that.
I got
I
some
think.
smiles.
giving him
Ooh,
bedtime
smizing.
stories, bedtime eyes.
All right, well, Team Lola over here. Phil, who's your
Are you
favorite?
Lola too?
I like all of the girls.
I like
You like Kenna.
I like Kenna.
Yeah.
But I very much would feel like the king was like, what have I gotten myself in?
Oh my God, right?
Oh my God.
It's like talking to a rock.
I feel
By
like
the way,
home.
I liked what Diane or Sebastian said it, but and speaking about Bash and Diane, where like
Which we can jump into
A
that.
little ditty about Bash and Diane. All right.
a little they the reason why they're the favorite is because they asked for nothing. And again, why is Kenna, she was initially liked
Asked for
because
everything.
she didn't ask for too much. Now it's like, oh my God.
Take the tiles out of your room.
Okay, so
I feel at home with Kenna because she's like every girl in Hollywood. I think.
Well, it's
You know, she just wants to
Oh.
marry. Not every girl,
Whoa.
but the general
Island from the
stereotype.
panel.
Calling every girl in Hollywood a whore.
No, I never called her a whore. She did.
True.
I'll
did.
take that. And I also want
But I'm not gonna deny it.
I'm gonna like jump to the end really quick just because we're talking about Kenna.
Do it.
So, did she get penetrated? Like, what happened to her at the
Not
end?
in that way.
When she had to go to the infirmary.
She got cut with a sword. So
Did she?
penetrated.
I didn't see that.
I think
She got
did get-
literally forked. No, I don't know.
Because there was blood coming from her mouth, but I
And-
didn't know if it's because she kissed one of the guys that had touched the poison gold. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I think. Interesting. Okay, maybe I'll say that for prediction.
You
But
think
since
one
we're
of them
on
are
it,
gonna die?
I think either she gets sick or the king comes back and is really pissed off that she's hurt or something.
Yeah,
it has something to do
I
with
totally
Italy.
agree. I totally agree.
He's gonna have
with
to
that.
go against
Yeah.
Italy a little bit or something. I don't know.
It definitely had to be the lasting mark
Yeah.
for the king to actually care in the next episode. That was my thought too.
Huh?
But
Maybe she just has herpes.
Well, she
Maybe.
was only slept with the king and herself, but
you can get it other ways.
The K.
Yeah.
Royal herpes.
Public
Oh, yeah,
service
so-
the hardest to get rid of.
the king is probably the biggest whore of the whole
Wow.
of the whole court. So yeah,
I've
she
never
probably
said
got
that
some
word
disease.
more than on this panel in my life.
We're
By the
gonna
way,
start
for
having-
clarity, and then we
Clarity.
can move on to an actual
All right.
topic. When Mary, what was the original plan? Like when Mary says to the count, like, "Hey, I have a pro." Like, what is the pro? Is it?
It's a corset crisis.
Oh
that
yeah,
mean?
It was too tight. She
It's
couldn't
too
breathe.
tight.
She's
She
like,
couldn't
she was,
breathe.
she was like, basically, my bra's too tight, and he was like, well, go
too
figure that
straight-laced.
out.
Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like, if you ever need to get out of something in high school, you're just like, oh, it's
Right?
that time of
Yeah,
the
it's your
month.
period.
Yeah.
You gotta
Just
go.
grab your
I
purse and leave the room.
Okay, go.
That's what I was. I thought it was a little bit more than just like.
You thought it was her menstrual
Yeah.
cycle?
She definitely said corset, but
Well,
yeah,
and she said straight. I'm feeling very straight laced right now.
And she couldn't
couldn't
breathe.
breathe. It was too tight. She needed her ladies to loosen it up
Somebody-
a little.
But I thought that she was going for the
That's what I
like
thought,
it's
too.
my time. Aunt Flo is here because
Yeah.
that's every girl's get out. That's
Here's
her-
the thing: if I was the count, I would
Queen
have been like,
Flo.
"Ooh, you got to get out of that dress. All right, let's go."
Let me help you.
And
I mean, the dress
I'm
was
actually
red.
surprised that he didn't take advantage a couple times because she was using her womanly ways and being very tactful and flirtatious to get out of a lot of things, like to save her girls.
Right.
I thought he was going to take her up on the offer and go in the room and rape her or something. I thought that was going to be the path that we go.
But he says earlier on, he was like, "I'm so sorry that you're
Yeah.
here for this," like because his beef is with France.
True.
It's not with her whole stuff.
But he
So-
took a liking to. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the end, I mean, all that went away when he said, "I'm not
I'm not
a
a
When the-
gentleman."
gentleman." And
He
that
became,
was total fun.
And was it just me or I got a little ratchet like all of a sudden with like the intent of rape like on the table. Like I thought they were gonna like remove them from the room and like maybe go
Yeah.
to the stables or somebody. They
they just had their food. They just had their wine. They don't give
Yeah.
a shit about going to the room.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't
I
need the
think
table
I
for
can say
anything
shit.
else at that point. Ooh, well, you did.
Shit.
It's okay.
Okay, let's get a little bit back on topic. We've talked
We've talked
Have we
about
gone
Bash
through
and
Greece?
Diane.
Bash be bashin'.
Should we talk about iTunes?
Well, yeah. Rate, comment,
What's iTunes?
download us on iTunes.
What's
Yes.
iTunes?
That's where you can find us.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars, guys.
5
yeah,
stars.
we're all here today. There's 5 of us here, so we deserve
That's out
5
of
stars.
5.
1 star each. We each deserve a star.
Yes.
Yeah, and comment because we'll write back to you guys. So let us know.
There was actually
what
some.
you like and
There were some great ones off of our video from the last one. The guys show. They liked the guys show, which was cool. Oh no! They also missed you all.
All right.
They missed you all.
I wrote that I missed you guys just to make you guys feel better.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. It wasn't me.
No, and there was some good feedback. Apparently, the serving lunch, Sarah, the one that was one of the outsiders, they had named her in a previous episode, so that's not the red shirt of the show. We were talking about
But
how
she still dies.
she still died, but they'd named her in a previous episode. It wasn't like, oh, as soon as we name someone, we kill them off.
Vincent?
They did do that in this episode. Everybody.
I think they've killed somebody, if
Portuguese
not
guy?
multiple people, every single episode.
Oh yeah, no, people died every
Yeah,
episode.
there is lots of death.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
But
High
yeah,
stakes. High
we need you to
stakes.
go to iTunes and like us, rate
Please
us,
do.
comment, because we can't do it without you guys.
Yeah.
However you find us, tweet at us. Let us know what you think about our puns.
If you hate them, don't tweet at us. 'Cause we're gonna do them
We'll
anyway.
pun you right back.
He's so kind.
Okay, so who do we want to talk a little bit more about right now, guys?
Should we go to Queen Catherine?
Queen
or-
Catherine.
Oh, let's talk about Olivia first because
Yeah.
Queen
Yeah.
Catherine that's a whole big mess.
Hot mess.
I love her.
With Olivia, we've got, she just hates Mary so much. Like she just.
And what was she expecting though? Like,
Well, I mean, keep in mind when she was introduced to us, she came back as basically Francis's high school sweetheart, and she came back with the hopes of maintaining that position, and she now knows, especially because of the evidence in the bedroom, that that's no longer the case.
Which,
and
by the way,
that-
I'm surprised that you guys can't feel more for her.
no,
I do without a doubt.
I don't.
I think she's ultimately a good person. She didn't do this. This wasn't her doing. It wasn't her idea. One, she's being blackmailed into coming back there. She was totally. We're talking about Olivia, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. She was blackmailed into coming back to the castle. That's what the queen said to her. Said, "I brought you back here to, get my son
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get the queen or get the throne because your life is ruined as a whore." Your
say
word.
no.
She
Well,
can't. Her
no,
life
because
would be
the
ruined.
queen ruined her reputation where she was.
Well,
Yep.
technically, she ruined her reputation.
she did.
Like, I mean, she took that first step, just like Kenna. Just like I don't feel that bad
In the
for
words
Kenna.
of Miley Cyrus, everybody makes mistakes. guys.
But there's no guarantee with Kathy,
Wrecking
crafty Catherine. So,
Without a doubt. Remember the word. No one holds their word in France.
right.
France.
So for her to be like, okay, I'm going to come back because the queen said that she's going to do this.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
you don't have a choice.
rock in a hard place.
She does.
You don't
Right.
have a choice.
It-
Your
it-
life is ruined. The queen can ruin her life if she doesn't come back.
her life is already ruined.
Right,
It's
she
not
does.
ruined.
Oh, it
okay,
was.
so she has the potential of making it better then.
No,
There.
no. Her
Okay.
life, I think,
Yeah.
was completely ruined,
But
and
she
this
has the
was
potential.
her light to
Yes.
follow, to
Exactly.
like
That's what
possibly
he
get
said.
out.
And to add on to that, every single time that she's seen that Francis really loves Mary, she's been like, "This is dumb. Why am I here? She doesn't love me. He loves Mary. This is silly. I want to go home." So every time she keeps trying to work her way out of it.
I mean,
And the
I
queen
feel like
just
that
keeps
was
telling her, "Shut
actually
up."
only in this episode, because at
no,
the end of the last one
episode,
was.
she did the same thing.
No.
But in the last episode,
She said-
she ended up betting him, and she was super happy. And
Yes.
then in this episode, she's like, "That did not go well."
But earlier, before she betted him, she had
Tried
the
to
same
get enough
concerns.
to heal Mary.
Mary.
She had the same concerns to the queen earlier in last episode. She said the same thing, and then the queen said, "Quit being a foolish girl. This isn't about love."
And,
Well,
and the
marry
queen
him.
even
And that's-
talked her up and said, "I wasn't royalty
Yeah.
either. You can marry." Like
Exactly.
convinced her that she could become
Yeah.
queen one day.
That's true.
So then, and again, sex is gonna cloud your mind a little bit. She's gonna think, "Oh my God, maybe he does like me. He's with me." And then she realizes that he says Mary's name.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't love me.
Oh,
So
another
I
Destiny's
think-
Child.
I think she's inherently a good person.
Why
She's
should it come out that he was
forced.
just saying like we should get married?
Yeah, I mean,
No, he loves Mary.
He does. I'm not drinking the Olivia Kool-Aid. Sorry.
I'm not
not-
either. Her hair
And
looks
I
like
think
crap.
It runs deep for me
She's
even more,
too
and
weak.
I said this 2 episodes ago. My middle name is Olivia, so I'm like,
I think it's a pretty name.
Oh well, then I don't
Right?
like
A
Olivia either.
gorgeous name. No, it's a gorgeous name.
It's
After
a
my
gorgeous name.
grandfather, Oliver.
I just
Well,
I like
and her nickname
strong
is
women,
Liv,
and everybody.
which she
except
will
for her.
not.
Ooh.
I think
Predictions,
she's gonna die pretty soon.
Who?
Olivia.
She's dead.
Yeah, Clarissa took her
Oh,
out.
she dead.
I don't think she did.
She said, "What are you?" to Clarissa. By the way, did you catch that?
No.
Clarissa's not a real person. Like
Wait,
a
did we
ghost.
see Clarissa, or
No.
did we just
No,
heard the
we saw
whispers?
The running? And said that.
Yeah, there was like running,
Yeah.
and then whispers,
And then she said,
and then
"What
she's
are
out.
you?"
I'm the Scarecrow
Well,
from Batman.
So what does she do? Kidnap her and then hold her for ransom? I mean, what do you
She
do
wants
with
a
her?
friend to play with.
Nah, she hates her because she didn't save Mary. And
Yeah.
the girl,
Yeah.
and Clarissa likes Mary.
That's the big thing. Yeah,
She killed
Clarissa's
her.
the homie. I'm trying to tell you guys.
I don't
like,
think
Yeah.
Clarissa's
She
gonna
did.
kill anybody.
I can't wait
Okay,
for the
wait.
reveal on who she is.
Who thinks Olivia got killed? Let's make a bet right now.
Oh, okay,
we
that's
got two.
So
3 to 2.
Phil thinks Olivia's dead. Okay, you guys all think Olivia's dead. Okay, I think she's alive.
I think she's alive.
Okay,
I think.
what are we betting?
Hashtag she did.
I guess providing drinks or something
Yeah,
next
you guys,
time,
you guys.
because I feel
if
like
we lose, we'll provide the drinks. If you lose,
you guys.
We'll have a
provide it.
king's feast.
No.
Yes. Ooh.
You have to do something
Mutton.
on air if you lose.
Mutton.
all right, we'll think
Which I
about
think
it.
we may
and we'll
lose this one,
announce
but-
it. We'll think about it. We'll announce
She's
it.
definitely not dead. There's no way they killed her.
They
off
have
that
until
way.
next year. I want to be knighted.
Wait.
No, we have one more.
I
We
mean,
wanna-
Do you guys
Yeah.
want to
they don't, something doesn't happen in the next episode with her, we have until next year. But I want to be knighted. I want you guys to knight me.
Okay.
Ooh.
If you're right, I will knight
need
you.
to-
Make
yeah.
you a dame.
We'll have to
Yes. So I can play damsel in distress.
You have to come in costume though.
Hello. Halloween. I did that solo.
go. Did you really? Awesome. Well done.
With the crown and a scepter and a cape.
I'm so
Proud of
bummed I
you.
missed that.
I just met you, and I'm proud of you.
Although you know what, I may have to.
Nope, you already said it. You already said
You're
it.
on the team, y'all.
I'm gonna go with it, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. In the very opening scene, Queen Catherine did allude to Mary and made her realize that Olivia is Diane to her, right? It's her Diane.
It's not over yet.
So she is gonna be pregnant.
Yeah.
She is gonna have the mistress, have the oldest son,
Yeah.
which should have the true right to succession of
Or
the throne.
the only son.
She's gonna die in childbirth.
Mary will have a
or
son.
Yeah.
something like
Eventually.
that. I have a feel
I
like
know, but
she's
that's
either
not
gonna
it.
miscarry or have a.
We are all
up in them predictions.
right?
Yeah, we are.
Like, we haven't even gotten to the end of the story.
So
We're already at
Olivia
predictions.
may be dead or alive. Olivia sucks. She pieced out on them.
Worst.
And so then I think that was the most epic scene I've ever seen on the show, was that final scene in the banquet hall, I guess.
At the feast.
So much blood.
So much.
So much blood.
So much blood.
So much rape.
Bloody Mary.
No, but like I loved the twist of that it was the gold, because they even they buried it earlier in, again, writer, they buried it in where when they first show the feast, you see Vincent be like, oh no, you first, to the queen in terms of eating, and so it's like, oh okay, like all right, that base is covered in terms of it's not going to be poison there or anything like that, but the gold at the same time gets presented, and she's like, oh, to all the men,
It's
and,
always expect the unexpected with the CW and this show, Reign. Everything that we think is going to happen, nope.
But it also it shows how. Remember how earlier in his story he said, my son's life was worth 1,500 ducats, and he thought that was silly, and it showed me how much a life is worth. And then they kept offering money. They offered 10 times as much, and he's like, "No, that's bullshit. I want something more."
yeah.
So when she offered the gold to them, he didn't touch it. His men, who didn't have their sons' lives taken, like they didn't have that price. They didn't. They cared about money.
Yeah.
They went and took it. They died for it. He didn't die in that way for the greed part.
Yeah.
He died for retribution.
And I loved the timer the whole time that we didn't even know.
Yeah, right?
Because
The
I know
clock.
Mary and her ladies all were like, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us? And she said a secret is, I've learned that a secret is only kept secret if one person knows.
Yeah.
And so I loved how us the entire time they kept cutting kind of to shots that kind of showed Queen Catherine looking at the hourglass, and I just love that because I was like, okay, what is that? What is the hourglass like? Is she timing like how long she has until she runs out? Is there going to be some big explosion? I thought there was going to be like some big explosion to distract him, and she would peace out.
I love the idea of, them all getting out and then Queen Catherine just sitting, like, sipping on her wine as all the guys just die all at once. Like, and her just be like, got it.
And it almost made you think that she went back on her word a little, right? When she's like, take the women, don't give a shit, keep them.
I did.
But remember earlier when she was trying to convince the girls, she said, I know what you're thinking. That's what any woman would think, meaning that I'm going to betray you. We're all catty, etc. And then she told her past about her life.
I thought that was a great reveal, though, that she didn't make it. Like she tells the story like, yeah, people are coming, and then at the end she's like, no, they never come. Yeah. Like, you have to do it yourself.
Don't have to wait for a man.
Like, I just thinking about it, I get goosebumps.
And that's what I liked about this episode. It was the women uniting. Like, it was a common thread that, in this day and age, it was the men rule. They can take you and do whatever they want with you. And I like that she stood up for them. So in this episode, I liked Catherine.
Yeah, when the men are
girl
away.
power.
I like Catherine.
Girl power.
Yeah. I definitely do.
Well,
I mean, she's evil, but she has her reasons, right? It's for her son. I'd go to hell for him.
Well, and what I want to
She doesn't want
know
him to die.
How far would you go?
Yeah.
is, at the end, it sounded like she revealed that she was not rescued in time.
was not.
So she was raped. How did
Yes.
she then get a king? That's
Because
what I
she's
want
still
to know.
rich,
I
and
know,
I don't know
but,
that
like,
people knew.
She was already deflowered.
I don't know that people knew.
No one knew it, most likely.
And,
No one knew
and
because she said, get who makes history, the ones who survive.
Yeah.
And
she was
so,
like, I survived.
yeah, it wasn't until that point that she kind of revealed it.
Yep.
And then it was at 14 is when she went to marry King Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was
I thought that was a great reveal. This was definitely her episode. Like, as much as it was about, like, the Spice Girls, like female empowerment. It was very much her episode,
and it was showing how she can extend an olive branch a little bit and
Yeah.
protect her family versus other people.
When it benefits her.
When really, you know what? She's Italian too, so realistically, this guy is family to her. But her family now is more important to her.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, her children. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't threaten a mama bear's children. Like, no, that is not okay. You
No.
don't, I mean, and I know people who have lost like their kids and stuff, and I mean, that subject is very,
Well,
very
then the
sore,
same
and that
thing could
was-
be said for Count Vance and his
Yeah,
only
well,
son and
yeah.
the heir to his throne.
Absolutely.
Like, he doesn't have any other children.
And now you can be with your son. Is that what he said to him?
Yeah, I loved that. And I'm starting to, I don't know, I'm starting to get, the only things I want to say are just all in predictions now.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, I don't know.
Talk
Like,
about
do we want
Francis and Mary real quick. and
Oh,
how
yeah,
they-
yeah.
You know, they got a little sexy time.
Well, the forking incident of, I don't even remember what year this is supposed to be, 16, something, 14, something?
15,
I don't know.
59.
15,
I'm feeling
60?
like-
Yeah.
I don't know,
15
but last time when we
mid-59.
saw the King and Greer from behind in like episode 2, they didn't really do anything. So maybe.
No, well,
Huh?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so
The King and-
we know
Oh,
we
not
know
Greer.
with
Kenna.
actual.
Kenna, when they were.
They hooked up finally.
They
Right,
did
but in
have
the
that.
second
The first
episode,
time it was just
it was
digits.
just
dry.
dry.
It
It was
just
just
a little-
digits.
Some touching.
It was just.
It was
little
just.
heavy petting.
It was.
heavy petting.
It was
bad.
It was doing the plumbing manually.
Yeah.
God,
oh.
you went there. Whoa.
It's still an analogy.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Um,
maybe, and I was thinking, okay, maybe are they going to get us again? Like,
Yeah.
or is there
I don't
penetration
think
this
so.
time?
Well,
Because
okay.
she said never, which means she's not going to stop him.
Yeah.
They had sex.
I feel like they had sex.
Yeah.
And her leg was. Fine, that's all I'm gonna say.
Her leg was exposed.
It was.
I saw the
That's the first
ankle.
time you
It's
saw
not even that
leg.
her leg was exposed. It was that it was wrapping around him, and you know.
You know, there
Is
is
that
such a
how
thing as
forking
frottage. Yeah. It's spooning when you face each other. And so, or is it sporking? I can't
I'm
remember.
glad.
But
So many lessons
That's
today,
usually
guys.
knifing, right?
knifing. No, I think that's what happened to Kenna.
Oh,
So
man.
With the knife, yeah.
she got knifed.
A knife. I mean, enough.
Okay, is
there
there
it is.
anything else we want to discuss on this episode, guys? Do you think we got through anything, Phil? Do you have anything else?
We kind of touched upon it, but Leaf kind of stabbing the guy and saying that
Oh,
you don't know.
so
I
good.
thought that was really brilliant, and if I ever get in that situation, I'm stealing that.
Totally.
It was the throwback to like a firing squad, right? Where only one person has a bullet in the fire squad, but they all fire, so no one has that guilt they have to live with.
Yeah.
Greer would never have been able to face that guilt, so Leaf doing the chivalrous thing, went over,
Yeah.
even if he was dead.
Yeah. Now
he did now.
Well, and it just it solidifies their bond,
Yep,
which was
definitely.
awesome. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Also, the whole when Diane was saying to Bash, "Your blood, not brothers," and I thought that was just super exactly what we're gonna see through the rest of the season for those two. And then also I just loved Francis in the bedroom with the candlestick. That was just my favorite part of the entire episode.
Really smart. Francis is smart. Do you
Yeah.
guys have any final thing you want to touch on?
Before
Before
predictions.
predictions? Yeah, I know. I'm
know.
so
We're
excited
all,
for predictions.
I can just, you guys are biting at the bit. Yeah. Okay, we're just jumping. Phil's like,
Now,
do it.
your AfterBuzz
Do
TV predictions.
Phil, do you want to go first since you pressed that button?
I don't have as strong predictions as you guys. I'm excited for next episode. Obviously, it's the mid-season finale. It was supposed to kind of be the finale for all intents and purposes. What do you do? They're at their happiest right now. That's where we leave them. So next episode, we kind of have to leave them at their lowest. Rating-wise.
Stop it. Don't.
Oh yeah, for
Roller coaster.
finale. Yeah, it's not gonna be a good episode for Mary and Francis. That is for sure.
So what do you think is going to be in that episode?
Oh,
Predict.
so much. I definitely think that we're gonna see Olivia again, and she's not gonna have had a good time in the tunnels. But she will be around. I do think that just plot-wise, it makes sense to have her at least have a pregnancy scare before she's out. There
Could it
has
be
to
ironic where she gets led right into a secret passage as the act is happening, and it's like, oh, well, I already knew they were involved. Did I have to see this?
Yeah, she just because are they in her room?
She pulls
Is
a
she in
Kenna
Mary's
where
room?
she watches them do it. Like
Yeah,
the
she's
first
like,
episode.
Gets turned on,
Yeah.
and then her and
And then-
Clarissa hook up.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm waiting for there to be a gay character or something. Maybe it'll be in the second half of the season that they'll have some.
2014.
Yeah, maybe AFTERBUZZ, they'll make him gay or something. Like, I don't
Actually,
know.
maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe Lola.
Ooh.
There you go.
Anything else?
He has that, him and Mary where she says, can't some futures be undone? Not this one.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's true. So at least he'll be back, and so I think we're gonna see the setup for the rest of the season where he. That's gonna be the cool thing is now Mary is so excited. That's what it is. That's their low point in the next episode is Mary's gonna be so excited. Oh, finally I got this dude, and everything's gonna be great. Thomas comes back and he's like, oh, by the way, you're his undoing. And now she, to protect him, is going to have to be like, no, we can't. So that's going to be the turn is she's been pursuing him this whole time. He's been standoffish. Now it's the reverse, and she's going to be standoffish, and Francis is going to be the one
That's
pursuing.
a good one. I like it.
So,
Okay, I think I agree with you. We're gonna see Olivia again.
Right?
So we'll figure out what we're gonna make you guys do on air. I think that Leith.
Shots.
Oh God, my headphones just got stuck. I think that Leith is going to get awarded a title, and I think that's what's going to lead him and Greer to be able to be together.
Interesting. I like that one.
I think
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna be given a title.
Off of what he just did, or off of?
I
His
feel
cooking
like
skills.
maybe for what he just did, but
Them omelets,
I don't
man.
know if it's big enough because I feel
No,
like
this
Well, you
is had he gone and kind of saved all the women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been one
Yeah.
thing.
This,
But
Yeah.
still,
I-
you saved a woman of court. So maybe.
I
But I
don't
just
know.
I feel like that's too easy. It's
I don't
they've
think
gotta
it's
have
gonna
that
happen
drama.
yet. I think
Yeah.
I think it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
long. That's long game.
I like in the
Yeah.
end.
All right,
I like
yeah.
long
I
term.
see that long term, maybe in February.
They'll have their ups and downs.
That's when it comes back. We got.
Give me a birthday present. That'd be nice. But yeah, and Olivia again, and I think that's a great prediction that Mary is going to, when she finds out about this prediction, is going to start pushing Francis away to save him. It'll be interesting. Oh, I can't wait till next week's episode.
I
What do you
know.
guys have?
So to piggyback off of that, I'm going to say that my Queen Kathy, crafty as she is going to find out about Diane's plan.
Crafty Kathy.
about Bash, putting Bash in and making him have the throne next. And she might try to use that to her advantage and maybe, I don't know, shift the prediction of, you know, the Sun's king being killed in a way to save Francis. So Bash will take Francis's place in the prediction of the prophecy of him dying. I don't know.
I like that one too.
I
what I
like
see
that,
happening.
and definitely on that, there was definite foreshadowing earlier in the season with the guy from Portugal, and they definitely foreshadowed what's going to be the end game for Bash in this season, which is like the path to legitimacy, and he becomes more and more of a threat, and so then we're going to see the two brothers. You know, we've already seen their kind of undoing, but like by the end, it's going to be the two of them kind of
Duking it out.
Dukes.
So I've already mentioned quite a few of mine, but the two, I guess, more prominent ones that I could think of were, I still think that Kenna and the Queen are going to join forces against Diane a little bit. She's going to use, I think the Queen's going to use Kenna to get Diane out, and then it's going to turn out bad for Kenna, of course.
Yeah.
Always does. She's a whore.
My main one regarding Francis and Mary is earlier they said that we have to stay apart to keep our sanity, and then at the end it was we need to stay together to keep our sanity. I think politics. I like your idea about that. She's gonna see the prophecy and then try to save him, and push him away. I don't know. That may be too easy. I think politics are gonna pull them apart again.
Okay.
Right. Which is gonna take their sanity. Right, because
Well,
now they're together.
What about Diane? Because she can come into play. I mean, the problem is, Mary's going to back Kenna in this, but at the same time, she hates Catherine. So if Diane could take down Catherine or something like that, and obviously there's going to be a lot of brainwashing on Diane's part towards Mary to try to do that.
I think her relationship with Catherine is going to do a 180 after this episode. I really do. I don't think it's not the same relationship anymore, and especially because of all of her ladies were as well saved by Catherine. So I don't know.
But the Queen's life was saved by Mary. The favor was returned.
I actually think it's the prophecy that's going to align Catherine and Mary.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like
Against
that's the
Diane.
thing because they and I agree, and I want to posit this to everyone. Who do you think the first major death is going to be? Like of the, because I mean, pretty much everyone. That's my guess too.
Because it's going to be Diane against everybody.
Wait, I thought you guys said Olivia.
Well, Olivia's already dead.
Well,
She's not major. Wait,
she's not major.
I'm talking about like the people
Minor
that are
player.
introduced in like the first in the pilot. Like Olivia came in and she will exit as she came in.
So if Diane gets Bash legitimized, that means Francis is no longer the king, which means that Mary is no longer going to be a legitimate heir to wife to France as well, right? She becomes illegitimized, for lack of better
she's still
words.
a queen.
She is in her own right,
Right.
but she loses her power with France as well.
Well, for Francis, but with France, she would then just go to Bash. If Bash becomes because again,
Also
we're going
true.
back to this. We're going back
Which
to she
means-
marries the throne.
Yep.
Right.
Which she's not. She happens to love France.
Which would pull them apart, and that
Right.
puts Mary and Bash together.
Wait.
True.
I forgot to mention this, but they started talking about Queen Elizabeth I and how like they're saying that this bastard is going to take the throne, like
Which really happened too.
which did really happen, and also
Because
the
Mary
big
was
thing
supposed
of,
to take the throne technically.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also the big thing about Elizabeth taking the throne is she was a major woman who was single in power,
Yep.
and so the fact that could potentially be something that Mary will one day be, because now she's so concerned about having a husband.
Well, and
But
so
even
because
have
we know
South Scotland.
because we do know history, and I know the CW is rewriting a lot of this, and I don't even know if it's rewriting so much as just expanding on a time where there's not a lot that's known.
Right.
But we do know that she marries Francis. Like that happened in history.
And I think they already alluded to his
So-
death too. When Mary last episode, she just says to him randomly, says, "Are you feeling okay?" That's all she said to him. He said, "Yeah, I'm fine," and that's it. But it was I think a tiny little illusion, if you will.
Side note, that's my biggest pet peeve in relationships. Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Just leave me
I
alone.
will tell you.
I thought it was because he saw them kissing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's exactly-
maybe. That's true too.
And he was acting very standoffish to her, and so she was like, "Are you?"
It was a
feeling-"
different part
Oh, okay.
because he looked like really sick. He was really sickly in real life. He looked like shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was pale, little, thin. She was like almost 6 foot tall.
Yep.
She trumped him,
Well,
as queens generally do in a game of chess.
Well, this was an awesome episode, guys. I feel like we need to wrap it up. But where can we find everybody while we wait?
You can find me on Twitter at Ean Weslynn, EanWeslynn.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KeetinM33.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fahnia Thomas, FAHNIATHOMAS.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Jesse Wilson, JESSEWILSON.
And Phil?
Follow us here at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for
I love
another
it.
Please
great
tweet
show.
us.
Yeah, let us
please
know.
tweet us your predictions. If you think we're
Definitely.
wrong, let us know. I love being proved wrong. So,
Me too.
yeah. Right? Yeah.
I like a good conversation. Start one.
Yeah?
Oh,
I'll follow
you stay
back.
classy, San Diego.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.